Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. My name is Brianna Wilson. I am the founder and occupational therapist behind Freedom and Function, located in Austin, Texas. So for today's video, we are going to be doing peanut butter and banana ice cream, and we'll be doing it one-handed. Before we get started, I do want to apologize for any background noise you may hear, as my refrigerator is running and I can't get it to stop, so I don't know. But at least for the first part, you might hear some background noise. So I'm going to go over the ingredients that you'll need, and I'm just going to go ahead and use two hands just so I can show you really quickly. So you're going to need some bananas, okay? You're going to need a food processor or blender. We're going to try this mini one out today. You're going to need some coconut oil, some peanut butter, some salt. This can be kosher salt, Himalayan salt, sea salt, whatever your preference is. I'm using Himalayan salt. You're going to need ground cinnamon, and you're going to need ground nutmeg. You'll need a couple of grippies, okay, to hold things in place. You'll need a knife to cut the banana, and you'll need a Ziploc bag, okay? So those are the ingredients that we're going to need. For this first part, we're just going to be dealing with the banana. So I'm going to clear everything off of here except for the banana. Okay, so here are our bananas. Now, typically this recipe calls for 4 bananas, but because I'm using such a small food processor, I think I'm just going to do 1, but I'm going to cut all of these bananas up. So I'm just going to pull them off the stem. I'm going to pull it back this way. So I'm just going to stabilize it and pull it off. Move the knife so you don't cut yourself. Okay, so here's all our individual bananas. Okay, so we're going to start with 1. Now typically when you peel a banana, you peel it like this way, right? But when you're having to do this one-handed, it's actually easier if you go from the bottom. So you just pinch off the bottom and then you just pull back the banana. Or if you can't manage that, you can just cut off the ends, okay? So we'll move this one over here out the way. Again, just pinch off the bottom, and that will open up the banana for you. It's just much less fuss. And for this recipe, I'm not worried about it breaking because we're chopping them up anyways. So you can be as carefree or as careful as you would like. Now for this recipe, you want to use very ripe bananas. My bananas, I wouldn't say are very ripe. They're ripe, but they're not necessarily very ripe. Usually very ripe bananas have a lot more spots on them. But I was being impatient and I wanted to record this video. So, and I really want some ice cream. So I decided, okay, well, I've waited long enough, time to get going. And the reason that you want the riper bananas is because they're sweeter and we're making ice cream, right? So anyways, so now we're going to cut up our bananas, and we're just going to cut them up into little sections, about maybe ½ an inch or so. Depending on the size of your blender, you may be able to get away with bigger or smaller, but about ½ an inch. Just scoot that over. And if your affected hand can't help, you know, which for me, I feel like not everything has to be therapy. Some things can just be safer. So if it makes more sense, make sure this arm is out of the way so you don't accidentally cut it. Okay, this is supposed to be fun, not traumatic. Okay, so I'm gonna wash my hand just because there is some banana on it. So now we're gonna take a plastic bag and we're just going to open it up. Nice and wide. And I'm just going to, for ease sake, I'm gonna tuck this edge underneath the cutting board, so I'm kind of using the sink. If you had a lighter cutting board, you wouldn't have to do all this, but this is a pretty heavy cutting board. So I'm just putting the corner of the cutting board into the plastic bag so that I can really just kind of scoop it in there without having to worry about it. Okay, so I'm just gonna push the bananas into this plastic bag. It just is less to fool with. Then we're going to make sure that these are kind of more like in a single layer. It's okay if some are bundled, especially depending on the kind of blender that you have. But if you can, you want to try to get it into as much of a single layer of bananas as possible. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and seal this bag. So here is our sheet of bananas, and we're going to stick this in the freezer and we're going to let it stay there for 2 hours at least. You can leave it in overnight, but at least 2 hours because you want the bananas to become frozen, okay? So I will see you guys back in about 2 hours. All right, so I just took our bananas out of the freezer. It's been a little bit over 2 hours, so I'm just gonna go ahead and open this up. I'm just gonna use my teeth. A little bit easier now that the bag's a little frozen and cold. Okay, and then what I love about this food processor is you literally just shake off the lid, which makes it really convenient. And I'm going to put about 15, if I can fit it, in this food processor. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. All right. I'm going to seal this up and put this back into the freezer. So now we're going to need a tablespoon of peanut butter. So I'm going to take my peanut butter and I'm going to secure it on something that won't slide and use something that won't slide. And I'm going to apply downward pressure. As you can see, it's sliding on me. There we go. Until this can come off. So ideally, thicker ones that won't slide, Dyson's really good. It's expensive, but it's really good at helping you get tops off. Now these you might be able to peel back. Yeah, should be able to just peel this one straight back, but if not, you can always use a knife. So I'm just gonna open this up. We're going to use our tablespoon and we're gonna kind of mix it up a little bit because it's a lot creamy. Okay, get about a tablespoon. It doesn't have to be exact. And we're just gonna pour it in there. Now if you have a thicker type of peanut butter, it's not as runny as mine is, then you'll use your thumb like this to scrape it out, okay? Then we're going to need 3/4 teaspoons of coconut oil. Now, since I had a hard time with these last time because they are sliding on me with this cutting board material, what I'm going to try is layering them. So I have 3, and I'm just gonna use my bare hand to give me friction here. And so let's see if this works a little bit better. Oh yeah, see, that didn't turn at all. Okay, and so we need 3/4 teaspoons. So we're going to do 1/4 and 1/2. Okay. Then I'm going to take 1/4 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. Now ideally you want to use the bigger one so you can just scoop it in there, because I have a feeling I'm about to make a mess. But here we go. Okay. Yep, so there we go. Not as bad as I thought, but definitely a mess nonetheless. So you can get the bigger one, that's ideal, so you can just scoop it. Then we're going to do a couple shakes of nutmeg. Okay. And then we're going to do a pinch of Himalayan salt. Remember, you can use kosher or sea salt or whatever, but I'm just putting a little bit. Okay, now here comes the fun part. If you feel like your bananas are too hard, you can just let it sit and marinate together, but we're just gonna go ahead and put this on. So you're gonna line it up with its ridge. There we go. And then this blue light will flash, letting you know that it has a good seal. And then we're just gonna push. Okay. So now we want to carefully remove the blade, and we're going to hang it off the side. Okay, I'm going to go get a spoon, and we're going to carefully get the ice cream off the blade. Now I'm going to go ahead and stir this up just a little bit. All right, let's taste it. It's actually really good. I would actually probably blend it a little bit longer because it has more of like a chunky feel. But turned out really good. So I'm gonna go enjoy my ice cream, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye guys.